really, like, especially going into the Norfolk scope, amazing how little we had planned. Because I told Vince, I'm like, hey, like, okay, Vince asked me to work with him, and I had these conditions. They wanted me to go over in the match, and I put him over instead, and Bret was, the promoter was pretty pissed. As far as things that people tell me when they meet me, it's probably the number one thing.
You're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last time you were in my apartment in Studio City with the kitchen behind us. Now we're in a studio here.
Yeah, I mean, but that was great too, though.
That was a great conversation.
Yeah.
I loved that conversation. And I said it to you then, and I'll say it to you now. You look great.
Thank you.
You're looking, and you hear this all the time. You're looking very healthy.
I feel healthy, yeah. And life is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think since we had that conversation, like I had a match and like I tore my bicep.
That was with Janela, right?
Yeah.
Joey Janela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the thing is I had that next match planned, and instead of just getting my arm fixed like any normal, that sane person would have, my doctor was telling me, you got to get this done right away. Sorry, I just kind of took over this thing right away.
No, this is great, please.
Oh my God.
The funniest thing about wrestling retirements is they're never, finalized. Like,
No. I mean, because remember last time I was telling you, like, I don't have any plans, but
yeah.
I'm not ever saying like, no, I'm done.
Is that how you feel now?
Yeah.
So we could see another X-Pac
Oh
match?
yeah, most definitely.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I've been training, feeling good. I'm not saying like, another run or anything like that, but like if I needed to be in a match, like a 6-man or something like that, I could kill it.
You could throw a Bronco Buster?
I could do all the stuff that I used to do.
You know what everybody's hearing right now? What everybody is hearing is X-Pac says he could be in the Royal Rumble.
Oh my God.
That's what everybody's hearing. They're going, January's just around the corner. Sean could be in the Royal Rumble.
I could do that.
Oh,
that doesn't, yeah, right.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I could imagine it.
Oh, I'm guessing it would have to be the DX theme, right?
A lot of people tell me they like the X-Pac theme.
It's pretty good.
I never did.
Really?
I always liked the DX. I always liked that. Break it down, dude. But my all-time favorite is the Run DMC remix.
Oh, that's so good.
So great.
The
right?
King of Rock, who?
Yeah, it's amazing.
What about the X Factor? What do you think of that theme song?
I was the one. Oh my God. And I've already admitted this a bunch of times, but that was my idea. Not necessarily that song, but Shane McMahon comes up to me and they're trying. They're trying with me. And he goes, hey, we're thinking about having Red Hot Chili Peppers do your new theme music. And I go, no, I want Uncle Kracker.
That theme is so polarizing, right? Yeah. People either love it and think it's incredible, or they do not like it at all. There is no in between on that theme.
I don't know what, at that point when it came to me, I don't know what song I could have had that people wouldn't have shit on.
Red Hot Chili Peppers would be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. What a missed.
Was that actually was Red Hot Chili Peppers actually like in line to do this?
When they say something like that, I mean, and especially at that point where WWE was, we were pretty hot.
Yes, and you had a lot of like mainstream musicians doing theme songs at that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And I was the one that picked Uncle Kracker because we knew him, and yeah.
Oh.
That's just kind of how I was at the time.
Do you love that theme song?
I thought it was good, actually. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to go, oh, yeah, I could see why people... No, I don't understand what the fucking words they hate.
But look at the theme songs that you have had. You've been so fortunate to be able to come out to DX, nWo, X-Pac theme, X Factor. So many great themes. Yeah. So I get that in the pantheon here, when people are ranking
the 1, 2, 3 Kid theme was pretty good.
That's a great theme, actually, yes. So many bangers here.
Last summer, it was Ron Funch's son Malcolm's favorite song. Or it was on his like top 3 list or something like that.
I don't blame him. That's a great song. So I think when you're ranking all of the songs that you've ever come out to, yeah, maybe the Uncle Kracker one's not as high. I mean, I guess. Which song, do you like DX or nWo's theme better?
DX. Come on, man. Yeah. I mean, that nWo theme's iconic too, right?
It is.
But, like, come on. I mean, it doesn't.
I will say this: if it wasn't,
I was gonna say it doesn't slap, but I hate when people take terms and overuse them. Like that song slaps.
If it wasn't for Hogan playing the guitar and the belt,
yeah.
I mean, the nWo theme is still great, but if it wasn't for Hogan playing the guitar and the belt, I don't know if it would be over as much. That's just such an iconic moment, right?
Yeah.
But yes, so many great songs.
Quick time out from this conversation. Let me ask you something. Is coffee just not doing it for you anymore? Like, you're still drinking it because like that's what you do every morning. Maybe you like the taste, but it just doesn't give you the energy that it used to. Let me introduce you to Mud Water. Mud Water is a coffee alternative with 4 adaptogenic mushrooms and just a fraction of the caffeine of a cup of coffee, but you get all of the same energy without the jitters and without the crash. And look, yeah, it's called Mud Water, but rest assured, it does not taste like mud. Kind of looks a little bit like mud there. But if you're looking for that energy, and that's why most people drink coffee, right? They're trying to get that boost, either first thing in the morning, right when you wake up, or maybe in the afternoon, you're having like a bit of a like, oh man, I just don't know how I'm gonna finish today. Let's pour a cup of coffee and get after it. But so often that doesn't work, especially if you've been drinking coffee now for 10 or 20 years, or even more maybe. Mud Water is now a part of my everyday, and I know that you're gonna love it too. Go to mudwater.com/CVV, use the code CVV15, and you'll get 15% off your first order of Mud Water. And cheers, I know you're gonna love it. That is exceptionally hot, but very good.
Possibly X-Pac comes back at the Royal Rumble is what you're saying. No, you're saying there's another match at any point in time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It could happen.
Yeah.
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 So you're staying in shape. I mean, you look good. You're working out.
I am. I'm working out.
This is great.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I just got finished hiking before you came.
What an LA thing for us to be talking about.
I was hiking in Millard Falls Canyon with my dog and my wife.
Beautiful. Buster,
Yeah,
right?
Buster, yeah.
I just met your dog when on our way here. What kind of dog is he?
He's a lab pit mix.
Looked like such a sweet boy.
He is. He's such a lover. Like, all he wants to do is love and please. But he was a shelter dog, like, for a year.
A year?
Yeah, and so, like, we worked really hard on training him.
Wow.
Because we were fostering him.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have a cat, and, like, we just got it's our cat, comes first. So, yeah, we put a lot, like, money and a lot of time into training him to get him, like, he's a perfect dog now. I swear.
Man, nobody loves animals more than you.
I love it.
I know.
And I didn't have that. I always liked animals, and I've had dogs and stuff, and, like, I never had the connection I have, like, now. It's just way different.
What do you think that is?
Honestly, man, like, I think it has something to do with, like, like all the shit that I, like, went through, put myself through, whatever, just those years of just really, like, really rough stuff, Mm-hmm. And just I just think that in general, overall, I'm more empathetic, with people, animals, everything coming out the other side of that,
Yeah, what kind of like gratitude do you think that like everything you've been through, and now here you are on the other side, looking like $1 million. I feel like that gives you a real sense of gratitude for like, look what I have now.
Yeah. And just I'm able to put myself in other people's, like, when I see somebody like that's on the street, like, I've actually been there, like, I've been homeless in LA. Wow. My own doing, being on drugs and being,
Sure.
crazy stuff that was going on in my life at the time. But, not that I couldn't have called somebody like but I just wasn't in that state of mind where I was going to make a call, like, so you're on the street and, like somebody's knocking on your car window, where you're trying to sleep and like, hey, can I get your autograph?
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's pretty heavy, dude.
Wow.
Like when you think about it.
Totally.
Yeah.
When you do these appearances and, people say to you all the time, man, you look great. You look like you could go right now. How proud does that make you feel, knowing that it's you? You're the reason that you're feeling as good as you're feeling now.
What do you mean?
Like you were the one to put one foot in front of the other, make these decisions, change your life, turn it around.
Yeah, but I had, I had a lot of people that care about me. People get tired of trying, like, helping, but like there were other people that cared too. Like, so I didn't run out of people that cared. Like a lot of people got tired of trying to help me. Yeah. And they should have. You don't want to keep wasting your time on somebody if they're not ready,
Yeah.
But, eventually, like, I was at a place, man, like right before I came out here, with Maria Menounos and her husband Kevin Undergaro, who they were those people, that cared and like were willing to, like just help me, and,
yeah. I don't know if people
champion me.
I don't know if people know that, like, that's not just a friendship that they see on TV for like a quick, shot ringside at SmackDown or whatever. Like, because I did see you at SmackDown. You were with Maria.
Yeah.
Like, these are like, some of your best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like
great.
Family type. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I saw you at Raw 30, and you did this really fun interview with Byron Saxton. And you said something during that where you said that your match with Razor was your favorite match of all time. 1, 2, 3 Kid and Razor. That's your favorite, or is that your favorite moment on Raw?
It's beyond, and there's no close second moment that was as important as that moment was in my career and my, like, really in my life too. Like, I mean, that was so huge. Like, it was life changing.
Yeah.
Not in his career. Like, my trajectory of my life changed because of that moment, and it was huge. It had so much impact. It was a unique way of introducing somebody besides just the, hey, like, let's do 6 weeks of vignettes and like some, squash matches where he comes out, beats a guy.
At what point did they tell you that you were going to win that match?
I don't know, probably. It seemed like about a month or a few weeks out.
You're sitting on that news for weeks? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, no. It was longer than that because. Oh, no. It was a couple of weeks.
Still?
Because it was after I got the big win, I went to Japan for a couple of weeks and did a Super Junior tournament, to finish up my obligations.
In terms of an actual match, is that your favorite match that you've ever had?
No, because it wasn't a great match.
But
he
a great
just beat the shit out of me, man, and then like slipped on a banana peel and I hit him with the moonsault, right?
So, greatest moment, favorite moment.
Yeah.
Because the match, at least for me, my favorite X-Pac match is you and Bret Hart. I think it's 1, 2, 3.
It's the
Kid.
best.
Yeah.
It's my great.
That's your favorite?
Yes, that's the one for me.
That match is just. You get a standing ovation at the end of that match from Macho Man and Jim Ross.
Yeah.
I mean,
they made that, man. They put the cherry on top of that thing.
And also Bret, like as soon as the match is over, he's raising your hand. Yeah, that was a special match to watch.
Yeah, I followed Bret. And he led me through that thing. But he was so giving out there, and not just as far as the things he let me do to him, but in the things that he let me call. Like so much of that were my ideas. He just put them where they needed to be,
And what are you, like 22 years old when
Something
that's happening?
like that, yeah. Yeah, I just came off a hell of a match with Owen at King of the Ring.
That's
it was
right.
a short match, but
Yeah.
I had a match with Jeff Jarrett and then Owen, and Owen beat me. And Owen became king of the ring.
Now, when you look at that trajectory, it feels like maybe a few more matches, a few more big wins, maybe you're in the title picture here.
Yeah.
Did that ever feel like it was going to be the case?
No. Not as 1, 2, 3 kid. No. No.
So do you feel like you had to go to WCW?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Vince had this, when somebody thinks of you in a certain light,
Yeah.
it's really hard to change the color of that light, I think,
I get it. It's like the idea of like when the intern comes in, then they become, some sort of a associate or something. You'll never think of them as like anything more than
That's right.
the intern.
Yeah. Yep. So I had to go.
Yeah.
And I had to be, and I was successful in WCW.
Yeah.
Like, I accomplished the things I needed to down there.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be a part of nWo.
Yeah.
And so I got to bring that back with me.
Yeah. And then
And so like Vince looked at me differently. I mean, they, at one point, not too long after I returned, I'm working with Rock for the title at the UK. The hell was the name of that pay-per-view? I can't remember the name of the pay-per-view, but on a pay-per-view,
Yeah.
So
that position that you got put in when you returned to WWE and you cut that promo on Raw.
yeah,
I mean, that was definitely, the heat of the Monday Night era at that point in time. But there seemed like there was some real truth behind a lot of what you were saying.
Yeah.
And I also feel like Vince
it
McMahon,
was a rough. I mean, it was real. It was authentic, and I was able to deliver a couple of memorable, zingers. But it wasn't the smoothest of promos.
But it just felt like you were angry. Like,
It was real,
Yeah.
and that guy worked.
But I imagine after that, Vince McMahon was probably like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, thank you.
Because he told me, as I'm like, he sees me standing there getting ready to go, and he goes, hey, they're expecting something big from you. Like, give it to them. Not like you should say this. You should, like, here's a script of what you should say. No.
There was no script?
No, none of that. None of that. No.
And
Yeah,
then-
no, he didn't have the first clue what the fuck, what I was going to say.
And then you ended up, you got sued for that promo? Or they
It was in there.
They deposed you?
It was part, yeah, but it probably would have been a good idea if they would have asked me what I was going to say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because part of it was why they sued, but some of it was, like, one of the things from my promo that was part of the lawsuit when I got deposed, because I got deposed for that, which was a classic.
Hilarious.
The deposition was classic. You would have loved it if you were there.
A deposition for a wrestling promo.
Well, it was overall the whole thing.
Right.
Us invading, going into the CNN tower. And you remember? I don't know if you remember us invading that.
Of
all
course,
that stuff.
yeah.
And yeah, no. What was I saying?
The deposition and everything you said in that promo, like that you feel like they should have known.
Oh yeah, no. The part where I said Kevin Nash and Scott Hall would be right here with me if they weren't being held hostage.
Yeah.
By WCW. And so I'm sitting in the deposition and the WCW or the Turner or whatever lawyer, and I have my lawyer that was also Jesse Ventura's lawyer, David Bradley Olson, who's there with me.
Yeah.
And he goes, so why did you say Kevin Nash and Scott Hall would be right there with you if they weren't being held hostage by WCW? I said, well, I was talking to Kev the night before, and he told me it would be a good idea if I said that. And he was just like, Jesus Christ.
It's just amazing to me that they'd be going through a wrestling promo like, okay, and then you said this and this. The final thing you said here, sir, is suck it.
They asked me that. What do you mean, suck it? Like, what does that have to do with anything? I'm like, what do you think it means?
That's hilarious. I didn't know there was a lawsuit for the whole thing with DX and the tank and
yeah, and they were like talking about us coming, into CNN Tower and then I said, but like Dick Cheatham, like one of the vice presidents of Turner Broadcasting came down and gave us all access. Pat, did you know about that story?
I did not know that.
Dick Cheatham, yeah, he was great. I think Conrad interviewed him recently, yeah. But he was a bigwig at Turner, and we're about ready to get kicked out of the CNN tower by security, and all of a sudden we hear, DX, I love those guys. And it's Dick Cheatham. And he goes, give them all access passes. Yeah.
Did he not know what you guys were up to?
He knew what we were doing. He didn't care.
But, I mean, it's so ballsy, right? To do what you guys did and to just try to pull that off. And here we are 25 years later, and it's still a thing that people
it was a rush, you know. It was a rush doing that. We knew we were doing something that, you know, I mean, uncharted waters, kind of.
Did you think at any point you might get arrested for it?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay. But did you go into it going?
We didn't get, like, handcuffed and taken to...
like to get booked or anything?
I mean, we had to go to the station, but they let us stay in our van.
Wow.
Yeah, because when we went to their offices, not the CNN tower, but their WCW offices, Vince had already paid off the local police, and they were with us. But then, like, they called the police, and so then, like, I don't know if it was the sheriff versus the police department or how that worked out, but we ended up having to go down and technically get booked, yeah.
Was there any plan of like,
Something
okay,
like
we're
that.
going to say, like, when the whole thing, like, you're looking at this before you even started, we're going to say this, we're going to do this, or was it just like, let's go and see what we can come up with?
We had like really, like, especially going into the Norfolk scope, amazing how little we had planned. Yeah, because I was like, when we got there, I'm going, we should go to the tunnel first. And, you know, we ended up going, you know.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a, like, plan etched in stone. We didn't have any contingency, like, what was going to happen if this happened, or what if we get confronted, or, you know, none of that.
Since you were such a big part of the Monday Night Wars at that time, is there anything that's happening right now in current wrestling that feels like, you know, any sort of AEW versus WWE? Does it feel like it's combative in any sort of way?
I mean, I think it could be. I think there might come, you know, a time when that happens. I mean, because, you know, when the Monday Night Wars erupted, there was a time when nobody would have thought that about WCW, that they would have ever been able to, you know, overtake WWE, WWF, and kick their ass for a while.
Yeah.
No one ever thought that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could see it happening.
And I think the one thing that
I think it would be a wonderful thing for everyone.
I think what's already happening in wrestling right now is a wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, a lot more jobs for our friends. You know, a lot more, as for fans, a lot more stuff for us to watch too.
Yeah.
I think people also forget that AEW started 4 years ago, and I think that they're trying to fast track this and be like, well, why isn't this something else? Why isn't this competitive? It's 4 years in. You know, you can see what happens.
Yep.
But, you know, you were part of some of the biggest moments of that time. Like, even if it wasn't a match that you were part of, like Mick Foley winning the championship.
That's right. I was just thinking of that. Yeah.
You're there.
Yep.
And that's a moment that, I mean, that was really kind of the cusp of like, all right, WCW may have pushed this too far, and now WWF at the time is now going to take the lead in the ratings as a result of this thing.
Yeah. I think once we started winning, I think they still won a couple here and there, but I mean, we pretty much started just winning almost all the time.
Oh yeah,
right?
and then it was just over.
Kind of. Yeah.
Do you remember what the vibe was like when you found out that Mick was going to beat The Rock and win the championship?
There was no. I don't remember like there being like, oh, like, you know, this big thing about it. It was just like, this is what's going to happen tonight. And we went out and did it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all really in the moment back then, man. Like that was incredible, and it was intense, and like, you know, hard to explain, man. Just like just even thinking about it. But so we didn't until like the moment actually happened, and like, you know, all the different things fall into place. Out comes Austin, you know, and the crowd's going crazy, and you know, we were all carrying Mick on the shoulders, and like, you know, all that happens, and like then you look back at it, and it was so iconic, epic, right?
And it's also like, you know, in that moment, I'm sure that was great, but then it's the fact that on Nitro they say, "Oh, this is what's going to go happen over on Raw." That made the moment that much bigger by everyone going over and going, Mick Foley's going to win the championship.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
But at the same time, also very fortunate for WWF.
Yeah.
Because a whole bunch of people were able to go over and go, oh, Foley's going to win the championship? Well, let's go check this out. And that ends up popping the rating. You know, so you guys already have this great moment. And then as a result of that, the rating goes through the roof because of that.
Yeah. So like you see that picture, I can see it. I'm not even looking at a picture of it right now, and I can just see that picture of us holding Mick up, and he's, well, I did it, Adrian, or whatever he was saying.
That's pretty cool, though,
Yeah.
that one of your, you know, career highlights, one of your favorite moments, is something that you're a part of but not a match that you're in. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was really grateful to be a part of like something bigger than me. Like I never really was. I just wanted to be a part of the show. You know, when I first got into wrestling, that was my dream, man. I just want to be the guy in the first match, even.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And then obviously, once you attain that, you gotta keep making more goals, right? So
You've heard this a lot, I'm sure, but you really changed the perception that people had of a smaller wrestler. And I feel like everybody now who's under 6 foot that is wrestling owes a debt of gratitude to what you did in the 90s and early 2000s.
you know, that's funny that you say under 6 foot, because I was always 6'1" in my whole career. I'm under that now. I lost like 1.5 inches.
But isn't that crazy that a
Yeah,
6'1" guy was considered small?
Yeah, and well, I mean, I'm slightly built, you know, so that was a big part of it too, you know, because there were guys that had gotten a push before that were like, you know, 5 foot and change or whatever, but they were just, you know, like Ivan Putski. I don't know if you remember who that.
Of course,
guy was.
yeah.
You know, guys like that or whatever. But yeah, I think that I was able to learn how to I adjusted my style to where I was good at working with big guys.
In what way?
I just knew how to do it and knew how to keep everything at you know, as believable in the context of what we're doing. Like, you know, you never saw me shoot like a 300-pound guy into the ropes, because I mean that's just silly.
Yeah.
You know, I always had ways of getting movement without having to do shit like that, and just, you know, fighting that, you know, that's that underdog, you know, fighting from underneath. You know, I was really comfortable fighting from underneath. Like a lot of guys want to shine.
Yeah.
Dude, shut me down right away. Get heat on me right away. I don't give a shit. Let me shine a little bit in the beginning. I'm fine.
But I feel like there's a lot of guys now that may be smaller guys that don't want to work that way. They want to get the shine, like you're talking about.
Sorry about that.
No, please, it's all right. I'm going to drink some water too. A big canteen of water. But yeah, a lot of guys don't want to work small, if you will.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, everyone, you know, to each their own. That worked for me, and it's worked for others too, you know.
And I think it made it work really well when you get paired with a monster like Kane.
Yeah,
And
right.
the magic that you guys made together.
Yeah.
And I think what made that work so well is you guys were such different personalities, right? Whose idea was it to put you guys together?
I don't know, but I'm really grateful to whoever it was. I don't know if Vince Russo was still there or not. I think he might have been. I don't know. But I'll say this. You know, we had just broken DX up. Mm-hmm. Paul had just turned on me at WrestleMania, you know, and cost me the match with Shane.
Yeah.
Like, that was a thing where originally I was supposed to beat Shane. And, you know, when Paul told me he was turning heel, in my mind, I was like, you know, your heel turn's not going to mean shit if you don't, like, turn on me. Mm. So we did that.
Yeah.
And then I got rewarded with a hell of a run as a tag champs with Kane. I mean, we had a really good run together.
You guys were it was so good. And it was also the first time that we'd really seen any sort of personality out of Kane. And then actually, you know, as you know, that led to him finally being able to speak and then becoming
I remember.
Yeah. Were you there?
I was.
His first words being "suck it" is so great. But the match I really like that match with Shane. And I think that there's this interesting thing that happens with Shane McMahon is people don't consider him a real wrestler. But then when you look at his matches, like the match with you, the King of the Ring match with Kurt Angle, the match with Steve Blackman, I think people just remember the spots and they don't remember how damn good he is in the ring.
Yeah. And my match with Shane, that was his first, it wasn't his first actual, like, match, but it was his first match, like, big, you know.
Yeah, it's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of those ideas, or a lot of the things you saw out there in that match were his ideas. Because I told Vince, I'm like, hey, like, okay, Vince asked me to work with him, and I had these conditions. I've told this before, but, you know, I was like, I get to go over, and he has to listen, listen to me. And so Shane came in with this whole list of ideas, and at first I was kind of standoffish about it. Like,
yeah.
You know, I brought it to Vince. I'm like, Vince, look. And then Shane comes to me, okay, whatever. And then I actually just sat down after he said that and read it.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing like 3/4 of it. Like, it were all great ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like he doesn't get the respect that he deserves.
Well, I mean, you know, and people are and I told him before our match, I'm like, dude, if I don't light you up, man, you know, people are going to look at me and they're not, you know. He's like, oh, bring it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, he wanted me to, and I did too. Yeah. Like when I made him hit me hard, like, you know, we had the weight belt.
Yeah, yeah.
And I made him like just tee off on me with it because when I got it, you know.
You know,
he was great. He was great to work with.
He is great. You go down all of the matches he's had, they're all insanely entertaining.
It's not like any other like pro wrestler you'll work with. It's different though. Like he's got a different kind of energy and a movement out there that's just a little bit different. Everything comes off great.
Yeah.
You know, but he's intense.
I feel like he doesn't get, like, people don't talk about him enough being a great wrestler, but I also feel like with you, you're like underappreciated, I feel like. I feel like it's just in hindsight that we go, man, Sean was so good at this. And I don't feel like as it was happening, people were appreciating it as much.
Well, we didn't know, right? Like, I mean, the average person didn't have that kind of knowledge to see. Like, they didn't know what they were looking at.
I guess.
I mean, as far as being able to dissect something and go, oh, this thing was great, but it was great because of this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, now we know.
I said this to you last time, but there is no reason that you don't have a third Hall of Fame ring.
There's plenty of reasons. There's so many people, Chris, that deserve to be able to stand up there and get that kind of moment in their life, and I've had 2 of them.
You have.
And I'm scared to stand up there and have to deliver a speech.
I mean, it's going to happen at some point.
I'm not going to say I hope not, but, you know.
No. Are you saying that there's more deserving people that should be up there instead of you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You look at your career.
Tons of people that should be.
Did you see how shocked Bruce Pritchard was when he found out? He's like, oh, I thought that X-Pac had won the Intercontinental Championship.
Never.
Can't believe he didn't.
Never.
And now that we're saying that here, I think a lot of people are going to go, no, he did. Oh, no, he didn't win it.
No. Nope.
You should have, though.
But you know what I always tell everybody, and this is the God's honest truth, I made more money than the IC champ. Swear to God.
Is that because of DX?
That and just I was always in higher matches higher up on the card on house shows, and we were still making a lot of money off of house shows.
Whatever it is,
live events.
Whatever it is about you are great at picking great friends. Like you've got you've got some great friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm really fortunate. You know.
Who I think everyone knows it's Scott Hall, it's Kevin Nash, it's Triple H. Who was the first person to bring you into that friendship?
Scott. Yeah, Scott. Yep. And he had already seen me in GWF. Sorry, I gotta take a drink.
Please, no, you can put it here if you'd like. That might be better. What are we drinking?
I didn't know if you wanted to give Waterloo a plug or not.
So funny, this has nothing to do with that specific drink, but my college, Wilfrid Laurier University, is in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. So whenever I see these cans, I go, it's a little taste of my college town.
So no, Scott, sorry.
No.
Scott already knew who I was from GWF. And he was a fan of some of the stuff I was doing. Obviously I was still really green, but Scott was smart, was so brilliant. Like he could see like the diamond in the rough, right? Mm-hmm. And so once we had that, moment together where I beat him, that bond, you get a certain bond with somebody when you do something special with them,
Yeah.
And out there in front of the people. And he also, because of the connection with Kurt Hennig in Minnesota, and just we hit it off too. Just besides that, he's just a really giving, person,
Yeah.
and always. And he got this from Kurt Hennig, and Kurt said the same thing to me. It was like it's your duty to pass it on to the younger generation and to help them because somebody helped them, and so that's what Scott was doing.
Do you feel like there came a point for you in your career where then you were passing it on to the younger generation? Is that maybe in TNA?
Well, I mean, as best as I could.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a mess during those years, but still, like you do the best you can, I try to do it in more recent years.
What do you think,
I have people. I'm not gonna blow but there's like guys, women in WWE that
I'm doing a match with Joey Janela is pretty great
They're doing
too.
really well right now. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I mean, having a match with Joey Janela is pretty good too. Like
Joey's a brilliant kid, actually, right? Like,
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's really smart, and he's a hard worker. He did. I had the 20-minute match with him.
It's amazing.
Yeah, after oh my God, I didn't want to have that match.
What do you mean?
Dude, that's a long match to have in like one of your first matches back in several years. Basically your first match back.
And were you working through injuries at that point too?
Yeah, I already had a bicep tear.
Yeah. Was your knee already fixed at that point?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you wrestle. I mean, that's crazy that you wrestled on a bum knee for a decade or whatever it was.
13 years, 14
With
years.
a torn ACL?
ACL and meniscus, yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to do that match because, you know, that was a big thing they were building up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I probably shouldn't have done it, but I wanted to. And they wanted me to go over in the match, and I put him over instead, and Bret was, the promoter was pretty pissed. Yeah, he was pretty mad. I didn't realize no one told him.
Oh, no way.
And I can understand not knowing, hey, like, you know, thinking I'm going to go over and get this moment. And, like, at this point, I got a torn bicep, and I'm just like, what am I, you know, why do I need to beat this guy when, like, the way I feel right now, I don't ever want to see the fucking wrestling ring again, you know?
You're basically a one-armed man at that point, you know?
Yeah, so, anyways, we had a 20-minute match.
Yeah, it was
pretty
fantastic.
good, right? It was okay. Yeah.
I don't think anyone was expecting you to ever be in GCW. That was such a pleasant surprise.
Well, I have this contract with WWE, and so it was basically the one that made the most sense if I was going to do a match and it not be in, you know, WWE.
Yeah.
So I felt like doing something, and I like those guys.
Yeah. Oh, they're doing big things.
Yeah.
Tell me the origin of the Bronco Buster.
It came from. Do you remember Hakushi?
Wow, we're going way back. Yeah.
He would do that, but like he would just do the part where he landed on you, and that was it. Not the extra stuff. And so, like, you know, he wasn't using it anymore. Like, I just decided to do it one day because I remember him doing it to me, and he was gone. And it wasn't something I think people really remembered him for.
It's certainly something
I don't think it was one of his signature moves. So
people certainly remember you for it.
Yeah.
But how did you think to add the extra stuff?
We were like, you know, we were doing all this, and you know, anything that we could do just to be, you know.
Yeah. You don't have to name names here.
Anything. And so, like, yeah, I was just doing, just to try to be dominant and just be a piece of shit, you know.
You don't have to name names, but
you know.
Was there someone that didn't want to take the Bronco Buster?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, in WCW, after like the first like couple of weeks, Eric said you can't do that anymore, and there was like, I don't know, standards in practice said it was lewd and lascivious or something like that.
Oh wow, they thought like the FTC was gonna.
Yeah, so I remember doing it on Rey Mysterio,
Sure.
but doing it on his back instead, so like everything wasn't in his face. But I remember we were going to do it on Rick Steiner once, and then have him like put his foot up and hit me in the balls on the second one.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't go down for the first one, so we said, fuck it, all right. Okay. And Mick Foley didn't want to take it. And then, like, later, like, he talks about it in his book, actually. And then later, when it became a thing where, like, it got this huge pop, everyone wanted to take it. Because we're all addicted to the pop, right?
It's kind of like Rikishi Stinkface.
That, too. I always wanted it. I wanted how we get the easiest pop. Come on.
Yeah, Rikishi's like, there's people that didn't want to take it, but they still took it, you know?
I don't remember ever not wanting to take it.
I think with the Stinkface, when Vince McMahon took it, I think everyone's like, well, now we.
Plus, it was just fine, dude. Okay, you have this image and like this where your mind goes, but both him and Yoko, to clean it, like it was like a bouquet of roses. Seriously, like it was. I mean, you might not be able to breathe for a minute.
Yeah.
But like it's definitely not an unpleasant like smell.
At least it smells okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you know how many kids you probably got suspended from school because of Suck It?
Yeah. It's the single, like, as far as things that people tell me when they meet me, it's probably the number one thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
The crazy
And
thing.
you try to because you're just meeting this person,
Yeah.
you don't want to respond to it, react to it like you've heard it 10,000 times. So, because you want them to have a great experience when they meet you.
Sure.
So,
What do you say? Do you say, "Oh, I'm sorry"?
no, I say I'm glad I could, contribute to the, corruption of the youth of society.
Because Suck It caught on so fast that I actually remember, I think it was my friend's school, they had like an announcement or they had a letter that got sent home that was like specifically saying
I would love a copy of that.
that you couldn't do crotch chops.
Yeah, I would love a copy of that.
Did you see Derek Lewis,
Yeah.
the UFC fighter,
Yeah.
was doing that? Dude, what a legacy you've created.
I mean, I helped create it.
I mean, yeah, you guys in China were all part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys all created this incredible legacy. I can't believe.
I'll take it. Okay.
If I
I
find
did some other things too, but yeah, I'll take that.
that's one of the, I think, big things people come to. What's one of the things you wish more people would ask you about, talk to you about?
Wow, that's a really good question that I've never thought about.
Because just off the top of my head here, we'll talk. It's 1-2-3 Kid beating Razor, right? It's the great matches with Owen, with Bret. It's going to WCW. It's coming back to Raw. It's DX. It's NWO.
Yeah.
It's Kane. It's Tori. I feel like these are all your greatest hits.
A lot of, my early stuff and the stuff from Mexico. I had a great time. Mexico was great. I was still, not where I needed to be, so I wasn't able to, take full advantage of all the opportunities down there. But it still was great.
And you learned a ton.
I did, and I was able to pass on some different way of doing things to some of the guys down there that really were really students of the game down there. Mm-hmm. There was a guy named Zorro that I worked with a lot. He was really good. The way I would do things was a lot easier than some of the ways they would do things. Yeah, I was very efficient. I always cut out all the wasted movements. Anyways,
I'm just, you think of your career. It's so many amazing things. What do you think, as we sit here now, 20 plus years removed from DX, what do you think was the cost of being Sean Waltman in the 90s, early 2000s, and, running the way that you did? That, as you sit here right now.
I don't know, but it was a lot, and it wasn't just my costs. There were people,
Sure.
my kids, and even through all the good and the bad stuff, right? So. It came at great cost, Chris. I have to think it was worth it
Yeah.
because of where I'm at now in life.
And now you're a
I'm
grandfather.
a grandfather. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. He's a year old. He's a little over a year old now. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. I love it.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's incredible.
I'm a young father myself.
I know.
Yeah.
I just found, I remember, knowing this, a couple months.
Yeah, I saw you at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have been, she wasn't born yet. Yeah, she was born May 29th. So yeah, I saw you at WrestleMania, and my wife was very pregnant, obviously. But yeah, it's changed my life, and as I'm sure being a grandfather has changed your life.
The big change was like when I first heard the news.
Wow. Yeah.
That was the most like everything else came natural.
Yeah.
But not that like, hey, you're going to be a grandfather finally.
Yeah.
You know, because really, I'm not that young to be a grandfather. And if my son would have had his son the same age I had him, I'd have been a 40-year-old grandson or grandfather. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was 19 when my son was born.
Wow. That is young to be. Look, I'm a 40-year-old father, and I'm still figuring this stuff out. I can't imagine being half this age. Man. I always love chatting with you. I always love catching up with you. You always have so many amazing, great stories. We've talked a lot about gratitude during this conversation, and that's where I wrap up every conversation. It's the last question I ask. What are 3 things, Sean, as we sit here right now, that you're grateful for?
If I have to pick 3, I have an incredible marriage. It's amazing. Like, and I not that I didn't have, you know, in my other marriage, like mother of my children. Not that there weren't good moments and good stretches of time, but the relationship was always very unhealthy. You know, because neither one of us, were equipped to be in a healthy relationship. So, and my other relationships, a lot of people might know weren't the healthiest, right? Like, I mean, so I was never until a couple of years ago, ready to truly be in a relationship. And I finally got, when I got married, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, that's number 1.
Yeah, obviously I'm a grandfather,
Yeah.
and I have a great relationship with my kids. And that's something like that was one of my goals at one time, not that long ago. Was still trying to have,
Yeah.
trying to repair that. So,
Yeah.
and my health.
Yeah.
My health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where we started this conversation. I guess that's where we'll end it too. You look great.
Thanks.
Look great.
Thanks.
And
I feel great.
I feel
And
like,
I've just, don't mean to cut you up, but like there's my health, and like just overall, like people, I'm pretty sure most people don't think of like the train wreck version of me. I think a lot of people know, like, I got my life back now.
yeah.
And there's not going to be an episode of Dark Side of the Ring on me,
I think people are very happy when they see this Sean, whether it's on WWE or it's in an interview like this. I think people look at you and go, that makes me happy to see where you're at now.
Yeah.
So always good to see you, my friend.
You too.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so much.
Thank you for wanting to talk to me again.
Dude, I want to have you on all the time.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, we'll have you on in the Vegas studio next time.
All right.
Next time you're there.
Thanks, man.
Our brother. Thank you.